Welcome to today's deep dive. We're looking at some fascinating research today from Dr. Chadip Gymnadas,
Right, the world-leading cardiologist. I mean, he's treated over a quarter.
which is just a crazy amount of clinical experience. And our mission for you today is to uncover these surprising hidden triggers of heart disease. Because it's not just about standard cholesterol numbers.
No, it's really not. We're going to get into how ancient physiological tools can rapidly burn toxic visceral fat to basically save your life.
Because usually we think of heart attacks as a simple plumbing problem. You eat grease, it slowly clogs the pipes over decades,
Right.
and eventually the water just stops flowing and it's game over.
Yeah, but the source material reveals that whole plumbing model is just dead wrong. It's actually an acute inflammation problem.
Wait, inflammation, like a swollen joint.
Sort of, but inside your blood vessels. A heart attack happens when an inflamed plaque inside your artery cracks open. It's almost like a popping pimple.
Ugh. Okay, a popping pimple inside your artery. That is a horrifying image.
I know, it's graphic. But your body tries to heal that sudden rupture by forming a blood clot. And that clot is what is actually fatal.
Okay, so if hyperinsulinemia is the root cause of this inflammation, meaning, that our constant snacking on processed carbs keeps insulin chronically high, what's happening at the tissue level?
Well, we hear a lot about insulin resistance, but Dr. Gemnadas points specifically to visceral fat as the real culprit.
That's the deep belly fat, right?
Exactly. It's not just inner energy storage. When chronically high insulin forces your body to pack fat around your organs, that tissue becomes an active endocrine organ itself.
Oh, wow. So it's doing something.
Yeah, it literally pumps inflammatory cytokines directly into your bloodstream. That irritates the arterial lining and creates those arterial pimples we were just talking about.
Okay, let's unpack this insulin trap for a second. I mean, it's kind of like if you're constantly grazing, it's like someone constantly ringing your doorbell.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
And eventually the pancreas, the homeowner, just goes totally deaf to it. It just stops answering the door.
That perfectly illustrates insulin resistance. Yes, so the goal has to be draining that toxic visceral fat.
And the material is super clear that just cutting calories does not work for that.
No, because calorie restriction merely slows your metabolic rate. It eats away at your muscle.
Right. So the answer is fasting, just pausing the clock entirely.
Because fasting triggers a completely different physiological state. I mean, after about 12 hours of zero food, your insulin finally bottoms out.
Which signals your body to finally unlock that fat bank.
Exactly. It starts withdrawing energy from that visceral fat and turning it into clean-burning ketones. Plus, you get this massive surge in healing stem cells.
Hold on, though, because this is where I get hung up. Let me play devil's advocate.
Sure.
If I'm fasting for 12 hours and then I go do a heavy lifting session or high-intensity intervals, aren't I just cannibalizing my own muscle tissue?
It sounds like you would be, but no. It's totally counterintuitive.
Wait, really? Where is the fuel coming from?
Evolutionarily, your body knows you need strength to secure your next meal. So when you do resistance training at the peak of a fast, your system releases a massive spike in growth hormone.
Oh, to protect the muscle.
Yes. It chemically locks down your muscle tissue, forcing your body to burn strictly that stored visceral fat for the energy.
Okay, so you burn the bad fat and you keep the strength. I love that. But what if you fast, you exercise, you eat well, and you still have cardiovascular issues?
Right, so the deep dive shifts here to some bizarre environmental triggers, and it starts with mold.
Which is wild. The material says almost 70% of homes have hidden mold.
Yeah, it's terrifying. And inhaling those spores causes this systemic low-grade inflammation. Combine that with a leaky gut.
Which most people have from low-fiber diets. Right?
Exactly. Microscopic toxins from your intestines literally slip through the gut lining and straight into your bloodstream.
And that alters our cholesterol. It oxidizes the LDL cholesterol and shrinks it down into what they call small, dense LDL.
Right, the truly dangerous stuff. They turn into these tiny, dense bullets that easily lodge right into the arterial walls.
But the hacks to fix this gut-brain connection are just incredible. It's all about the vagus nerve.
The master control of our rest and repair mode.
Yeah, and the things you can do to stimulate it are wild, like humming for 10 minutes or doing that 4-in, 8-out breathing.
Or splashing freezing cold water directly on your eyeballs.
Yeah, explain that one. How does cold water on your face protect your heart?
Well, it triggers the mammalian dive reflex. When freezing water hits the trigeminal nerve receptors around your eyes, your brain literally thinks you've been submerged in deep water.
So it panics.
No, the opposite. It instantly fires the vagus nerve to rapidly drop your heart rate and lower your blood pressure to conserve oxygen. It literally forces you out of that chronic fight or flight inflammation.
That is amazing. So for you listening, why does all of this matter? Because waiting around for chest pains or a diabetes diagnosis is a total failure of an approach.
Right, by the time you get a diagnosis, the damage is already done. The pimple is primed.
Exactly. Your daily habits are cardiovascular decisions.
And I want to leave you with this provocative thought to ponder. We talked about how modern conveniences, constant snacking, climate-controlled but moldy houses, unending stress, are the real drivers of this disease.
Right.
So is it possible that our bodies aren't actually failing us at all? Makes you wonder if they are just violently rejecting a modern world we were never genetically designed to inhabit.